Voting for the 2025 NBA All-Star Game started today, Thursday, December 19th, and it's the same as always been. You vote for 10 players, 5 from each conference, on the East and on the West, 2 backcourt players, 3 frontcourt players, 5 each for a total of 10. Simple enough. The same as it's always been. The format, on the other hand, the long version of this rant can be found on this article right here that I wrote on fansided.com on the state of the All-Star Game, how we've gotten to this point, the continuing change of formats, the future, and a potential fix, perhaps, to the All-Star Game. This will be the shorter version. I'll try to keep it short at least. For the 2025 edition of the All-Star Game, the NBA implemented its 4th format change in the last 8 years. Yes, there's been 4 format changes to the All-Star Game since 2017. That atrocious 2017 All-Star Game in New Orleans. That was forgettable. I don't even know what we're talking about. Now, instead of one game, it'll be like the Rising Stars event is on Fridays now. It's been like that for the last 2 years, I want to say, where instead of one game, it's 3 shorter games. So you have a mini tournament with 4 teams, 2 of them playing 2 games. They'll play each other. The winner of each of those games faces off against one another. For the All-Star Game, it'll be 3 games. Each game decided by the team that scores 40 points first. It'll be 3 teams comprised of all-stars, so 3 teams, 8 players each for a total of 24. And then the other, the 4th team, the other team, will be the winner, coincidentally enough, of the Rising Stars event. So also 8 players. The Rising Stars is also comprised of rookies, sophomores, and then there's a team from the G League. I don't know if that will stay the same this year with no G League Ignite. TNT analyst Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley will draft. Candace Parker will be the honorary GM. I don't know what that title serves, but she'll be the honorary GM of whatever team comes out of the Rising Stars event. And just by reading this page, I have a lot of concerns. When you do the whole math on this entire page, for me at least, the math isn't mathing. So voting works the same. You're still going to pick 24 players. 10 starters, and then the rest are going to be filled out by coaches, right? Voting works the same. But you have 3 teams of all-stars. So 5 starters each. That's 15 starters. We're going to vote for 10 starters, but there's going to be 15 total players starting in these all-star games, right? So where are the other 5 starters going to come from? And it's semantics. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but it is a little bit odd. They're going to have 10 starters voted in by merit, and then, all of them have merit, but these are going to be voted in. They're going to be, for the record books, they're going to be the starters, and then the other 5 are just going to be starting, but they're not officially the starters, like they weren't voted as starters. That seems a little odd. And then on second hand, the coaches are still going to be the coaches from the leading teams in each conference. So the way it's going to work is the leader of the Eastern Conference and then the leader of the Western Conference will send out their coaches. They'll have their head coach coaching 2 teams. So each head coach will coach 2 teams. And then you have an assistant coach coaching as well. I feel like we missed an opportunity to just have Kenny, Shaq, Charles, and even Candace coach. Like, just screw it. We're trying to maximize entertainment. Like, how much is a coach going to decide a game up to 40 points? Like, it's 40 points, so it's a short game. There's only 8 players on the team, so it's going to be a short rotation as is. What's even the point? I feel like we missed a potential wrinkle there to have the analysts mic'd up and just maximize the entertainment value. Like, imagine it's a close game and getting to see Shaq or Charles or Kenny or Candace drawing up a play to win. That would be entertaining. I would pay to see that. Not a lot, but I would pay to see it. We're trying to maximize entertainment. It's an all-star game, right? So that's problematic. Beyond that, you mean to tell me that the fix to 1 boring exhibition is 3 boring exhibitions? Again, the math isn't mathing because there wasn't anything done to incentivize players to try harder for these actual games. Like, I would venture out to guess that the Rising Stars game will be the most competitive, like the game where the team for the Rising Stars plays an all-star team. I guess that game will be competitive because the Rising Stars will be playing with a chip on their shoulder. They're looking to prove that they belong. They're looking to beat 8 of the best players in the league. And if that game is close, then the top players, the all-star team, will be looking to prove that, They'll be looking to avoid an upset. They'll be looking to prove that they are legitimate All-Stars. Like, imagine the embarrassment they would face if the Rising Stars team beat them. So that would make it entertaining, but the talent gap, I'm assuming, will not be that close. All-Stars versus rookies, sophomores, especially with the injuries now to a couple of rookies and sophomores. So, what's even the point there? That doesn't make it any better. Like, all in all, it's on the players to give effort to play, and ultimately this new format does nothing to change that. I don't see them trying harder for a shorter game. I mean, Lillard was the All-Star MVP for the 2024 game, which was better than the 2023 game in terms of viewership, but it was still the second lowest watched All-Star game in NBA history, and least watched was 2023. In 2023, it held the format where the top leading vote getters got to pick out their teams. I will call it the captain's format. And they held the draft before the game with all the players sitting around waiting to get picked, kind of like street ball. But it took too long. The execution wasn't that great, and Damian Lillard himself complained about the long slog, the long waiting time in between games. And I say all of that to say that now you're going to have them waiting around twice as long, because now they have to wait around for the first game to start. They'll play the first game, right? If not playing the first game, you have to wait till you play in the second game. And then if you play in the second game, you're going to have to wait and then warm up and play again. So, and then for the people that don't play in 2 games, so they play 1 game and they lose, they're only flying out to play a game up to 40 points. I don't know, man. I don't know. To me, it doesn't sound that compelling. But ultimately, regardless of the format, it's on the players to step up. It's on the players that want to compete, like Jaylen Brown pictured above, who called into question the rest of the All-Stars' effort for the 2022 game. It's on them to call out their peers for not stepping up and put the pressure on them. Be that one guy to step up and give effort. And maybe the opinion of one millionaire doesn't sway the opinion of other dozens of millionaires, but the effort has to be there. Like, I remember a time where the All-Star game had a formula. First 3 quarters, nonchalant defense, highlights sprinkled in. And then in the fourth quarter, if the game was close, they put in effort. And I remember, look at 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013 All-Star games. All followed this formula to a T, and those games are very entertaining. 2020 All-Star game with the captain's format was really, really good. And this is another point I bring up in my article. It's no coincidence that the older generation of perennial All-Stars. You look at guys like LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, Kyrie Irving. They've stepped off being consistent All-Stars either because of injury or simply, the diminishing of their game. In the case of like Kyle Lowry and Russell Westbrook, for example, as they've started to not be All-Stars, not be involved in these games, and you have the new generation of players, the quality has decreased, and it's quite disappointing because games should follow, that formula. And adding Kevin Durant to that list, who has been absent of a couple of these games due to injury, he questioned the format, and he said that it should go back to being East versus West. But my guy, it's also on you. It's on you and your peers to call out your other peers to step up and play up to par. This game should be advertised, if the NBA is the best league in the world, has the 24 best players in the world going against one another. And the fact that we're now 3 years, I would say 4 out of 5 years, because 21, 22, and then 24, and now 25. So I'll say 22, 20, 21, 22, and 24 were really bad. 23 was good. And we'll see 2025. The fact that so many recent All-Star games have been bad and just frankly unwatchable is a disgrace. It is a disgrace to the NBA. So either the players decide to give 100% effort because no one's getting injured, or we just change it to Team USA versus the world, because I know for a fact that the world will step up and give effort. Just do something. Fix this.